Guys, what's going on? It's MassiveJoes Raw Review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome Raw Review for the viewers at home today on one of the most anticipated Stim-free pre-workout supplements in recent memory from our good friends at Core Nutritionals. It is, of course, Core Pump in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's going to do. That nutritional information panel, although of significant size, is not quite big enough. We're about to go balls deep in this here Core Pump. Got ourselves a big ass nutritional information panel popping up on screen for you guys at the moment. Starting from the top, we're talking about serving size 2 scoops, 23.2 grams, and we got ourselves 22 scoop serves in each and every tub of this Core Pump. So we've got 40 full scoops per tub, and you can do the 1 or the 2 scoop serve. What we're about to talk about is going to be the full 2 scoop serve. We got 16.3 grams of active ingredients in each 2 scoop serve. We have 6 active ingredients that make up the 16.3 grams of actives. 3 of those ingredients are trademarked and patented, absolute top shelf ingredients, which means we're dealing with 70% active ingredients, 30% flavors, sweeteners, and stabilizers, which, to be honest with you guys, is quite big in terms of the amount of non-active ingredients that we have. So you would expect the flavors in this Core Pump to be absolutely world-class, but we'll get to that in a second. In terms of what the 6 active ingredients are, what they're made up of, and what they do, as always, guys, a link is in the description box to Supplement Simplified articles, and you can go and do some research on each and every ingredient that I'm about to talk you guys through, the clinical doses, when's the best time to take them, so on and so forth. What we're going to talk about in this Raw Review are the 4 main effects that we are looking for when we are looking at a Stim-free pre-workout supplement. Those 4 effects are, number 1, muscle pumps and improved nutrient delivery, improved blood flow as well. Number 2, muscle power. Number 3, muscular endurance. And number 4, increase in mental focus and mood and feeling of well-being. One by one, let's start with muscle pumps and improved blood flow in each and every scoop of this Core Pump. And remember, this is the 2 scoop dose. This is the full dose. We've got an above clinical dose of L-citrulline to boost nitric oxide through the arginine pathway. We have a solid dose of betaine nitrate, yielding nitrates, which is going to boost nitric oxide through the nitrite nitric oxide pathway. And then we also have a clinical dose of Hydromax glycerol to help hyperhydrate working muscles, increase muscle volume. So we've got really a triple threat here. We've got arginine pathway, we've got nitrate pathway, and we've got muscle volume and hyperhydration pathway when it comes from muscle pumps and improved blood flow. So we're going to give Core Pump a massive tick for this first effect we look for in Stim-free pre-workouts. On to effect number 2, muscle power. The only ingredient really in this Core Pump formula for muscle power is betaine nitrate. Remember, betaine nitrate yields both nitrates, which is going to help us with increasing blood flow, muscle pumps, and also yields betaine, which is going to help us with muscle power. It's a solid dose of betaine. It's going to be under a clinical dose, and that's really all we have there for muscle power. So a question mark next to that effect. We then move on to muscular endurance, helping you train harder for longer, stimulate more muscle growth, stimulate more caloric burn. We've got a clinical dose of beta-alanine, and we also have a clinical dose of peak O2, and those 2 ingredients synergistically work absolutely spectacularly together when it comes to increasing muscular endurance. So another massive tick next to that effect. And then finally, mental focus and elevation in mood. We have a whopping dose of one of the most bioavailable forms of choline, that being alpha GPC, in each and every 2 scoop serve of this Core Pump. That's it though. So alpha GPC is obviously going to help mental focus through increasing acetylcholine in our brain. Nothing in there particularly for increasing mood, increasing feeling of well-being. Some people do associate the increase in mental focus with those 2 effects as well, but on paper, the only ingredient in here that is going to hit that 4th and final effect, mental focus, elevation, and mood, is the clinical dose of alpha GPC. So when we look at this formula, and we go, okay, what's it missing? from a complete stimulant-free pre-workout perspective, on paper, it's quite comprehensive. It's definitely much more skewed towards increasing muscle pumps, improving nutrient delivery and blood flow. That's why it's called Core Pump. And also skewed towards increasing muscular endurance, and then kind of falls down a little bit when it comes to muscle power and improving mood and feeling of well-being. So if we kind of dive in and we go, ideal world, what would we add to this core pump? What are the gaps that it's missing? When it comes to effect number one, when it comes to increasing blood flow, increasing muscle pump, really, the only thing you could possibly add would be something to help stop the breakdown of excess nitric oxide, something like an agmatine or a norvaline. When it comes to muscle power, there's a lot we can do here. We could add some Elevate ATP, we could add some peak ATP, we could add some type of creatine. You guys know I'm not a big fan of taking creatine pre-workout, but a highly bioavailable form of creatine could be added for muscle power as well. When it comes to mental focus, we know that choline, and especially highly bioavailable forms of choline, really work quite well synergistically with huperzine A. So that is a gap in this formula. We'd love to see some huperzine A in there, which is going to prevent the breakdown of excess acetylcholine that the alpha GPC is allowing your body to produce, so that you get this feeling of increased mental focus that just hangs around for longer, and your body doesn't try and reach homeostasis once again by bringing that elevated acetylcholine back down to base level. And then when it comes to increasing mood and feeling of well-being, obviously we could add some tyrosine and acetyl-L-tyrosine, some L-dopa, some mucunapurians. Really, there's no ingredient in this formula that really hits that effect on the head. In terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, comes in 3 flavors. Comes in Tropic Thunder, which is your, I guess it's like a tropical fruit punch flavor, but definitely on the mango side of things. Comes in Black Lightning, aka Blackberry Lemonade. Comes in Cherry Burst, aka Cherry Starburst. Infamous MassiveJoes takes and mixability test about to go down. Got ourselves a double wall glass, got ourselves a spoon, got my personal tub of Core Pump, and I'm currently rocking the Tropic Thunder flavor at the moment. Before we get into the mixability test, guys, I will mention that Core have nailed the scoop weight in this Core Pump. Each level scoop is supposed to weigh 11.6 grams, which is based on the 23.2 scoop serving size. Each level scoop weighs 11.65 grams. They have just absolutely nailed it, which is, I mean, attention to detail is always awesome to see when it comes to your supplements. And when companies go to that level to make sure the scoop weight is bang on where it needs to be, that is just exceptional. Infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test about to go down. My personal tub of Core Pump. I'm going to go and get myself one level 11.65 gram scoop of this Core Pump. There it is for you guys. Drop this bitch in this bitch and let it rain. Let it rain. A few flicks of the wrist. I'm going to show you guys how this Core Pump mixes and then refresh my memory on how this Core Pump tastes, man. I think that's probably enough. As you guys can see, and no real surprises, trying to mix 16 grams of powder in just 6 ounces of water, it is, I mean, it's thick, and you can see down the bottom. I don't know if you got, yeah, you can check it. You are going to get some settling down the bottom. That being said, it is a pre-workout. You're going to be using a blender bottle shaker to shake it up before you train. So I would go so far as to say blender bowl is required. For this here Core Pump, let me refresh my memory on how this Tropic Thunder flavor tastes, man. Man, Core have done such an exceptional job with this product, as they should. As I mentioned at the start of this raw review, when you're rocking 30% flavors, sweeteners, and fillers, you should do an exceptional job with the flavor. And they have completely nailed it. The flavors are strong, and they are quite sweet as well. So I just want to disclaim that. They are, you know, the first time you try them, you're like, whoa, that there's some flavor in there. Yeah, there is. There's about 30%. So just be aware of that, guys. In terms of ranking the flavors, me personally, I think the Tropic Thunder, which really should be called, really, it's a mango flavor. It should be called mango nectar or maybe mango punch or something. Is probably my personal favorite. Then, surprisingly, the cherry burst flavor. I didn't expect it, but the cherry burst flavor, which is loosely based on cherry starburst, is really quite good as well. And then for me personally, you guys know citrus for me, the blackberry lemonade is definitely a lemonade, skewed blackberry lemonade flavor, very citrusy. So I don't really fuck with that flavor, just personally. In terms of the effects, because this is what you guys want to know, man. We've had a look on paper. We know what effects we're looking for. How does this core pump actually stack up in real world effects? Let me tell you first things first. The pumps are ridiculous. I can think off the top of my head in all of the pump supplements that I have used in my entire time in the supplement game, there's probably 2 that stand alongside this core pump with the amount of muscle pump that you achieve when you take it. And one of those 2 was the predecessor to core pump, which surprisingly enough was also called core pump. The pumps are absolutely world class, guys. I mean, if pumps are important to you and you're looking for a non-stim pre, or you're looking for a pre-workout to stack with your stim pre-workout to improve muscle pumps, absolute world class. You cannot go past this core pump. When it comes to muscle power, practically no effect. If muscle power is important to you, this is not the stim-free pre-workout that you want to be using. There's just, me personally, I really don't get anything out of it in terms of muscle power from this core pump. There is a definite gap in this formula when we consider the effects that we look for in non-stim pre-workouts. When it comes to endurance, absolutely exceptional once again. Absolutely world class once again. And once again, if I think about in all of my time in the supplement game, the amount of products that stack up against this core pump when it comes to muscular endurance, there's probably 3 or 4 tops. So absolute world class when it comes to muscular endurance. And as you'd expect, when you're rocking a full clinical dose of beta-alanine with a full clinical dose of Pico 2, you literally feel like you can train forever. It's crazy, especially combined with the muscle pumps. It's just such an awesome experience training on this core pump. And then finally, when it comes to mental focus, feeling of well-being, increase in mood, the mental focus is definitely there, but it does drop off very quickly. That's one thing I've noticed. And I'm comparing that to mental focus products that do have something like a huperzine A in there. So when you take the core pump, you feel dialed in from a focus perspective, from a mental focus perspective, probably for the first 30 to 40 minutes of your workout, and then you start to kind of wander a little bit. So really good mental focus for short, sharp workouts, but just be conscious of the fact that that mental focus effect is going to drop off after about 30 to 40 minutes. In terms of increase in mood, feeling of well-being, no surprises, really no effect on that at all, unless you are the sort of person where that dialed in feeling of mental focus does increase your mood as well. Like myself, I really enjoy that. But in terms of overall effects, I mean, when it comes to pumps, when it comes to endurance, you're really gonna struggle to find a non-stim pre-workout that stacks up against this core pump when it comes to those 2 effects. Absolutely world class, just an absolute pleasure to train on when it comes to muscle pumps and when it comes to just training as long as you want to fucking train. You want to go to the gym and train for 2 hours? Go to the gym and train for 2 hours. This core pump will help you get it done. In terms of side effects, the one thing I have noticed with this core pump, guys, is there's a lot of active ingredients, especially in a 2-scoop serve. You're dealing with over 20 grams of stuff that you're trying to digest. There's a lot of active ingredients in there. I think there's like, what did we say? 16 grams, 16.3 grams of actual actives in a 2-scoop serve. The one thing I have noticed is it does have the potential to cause an upset stomach, to cause gastrointestinal distress. And the way that I found around that is to just drink more water than you normally would with your pre-workout. So if you have like a shaker and you fill it up halfway, maybe you're doing, I don't know, 300 mils of water-ish with your pre-workout, and you're gonna take 2 full scoops of the core pump, I double that amount. So I go to like 500 mils, 600 mils, and just increase the amount of water. And I found that having that amount of water really does make it easier on your stomach. There's just a lot of active ingredients, and I'm just not sure that there is any other way around that. But just keep that in mind. If you are gonna do a full 2-scoop serve and you're gonna do it in, you know, a glass of water, there is the chance that it's gonna upset your stomach, especially the first time you take it. Stackability, it's an incredibly versatile pre, guys. Obviously, you can take it by itself if you're looking for a non-stim pre-workout. You can also stack it with a stim-based pre-workout, and there's no agmatine that you need to worry about taking too much of. There's really nothing in there that you need to worry about taking too much of. So it stacks really well with pretty much any stim-based pre-workout that you do want to stack with it. In terms of stacking it with a pump supplement, absolutely no point. It's just completely no point at all. I just would not recommend it. You're going to get ridiculous muscle pumps of this core pump. In terms of stacking with something to help with endurance, once again, completely redundant, no point doing. You could stack it with a non-stim pre that really focuses on increasing muscle power, increasing mood. But for the most part, you're either going to use it as a standalone pre or stack it with a stim-based pre-workout. What does it compare to? I had to scratch my head for this one a little bit, guys, because there's only a few stim-free pre-workouts that even come close to this core pump. The 2 that I've chosen, on one hand, are Axe and Sledge Hydraulic. On the other hand is Primabolic's Grind. Axe and Sledge Hydraulic, the pumps are not as good as this core pump. The power is better than this core pump. The endurance is not as good as core pump. The mental focus is nowhere near as good, but the mood is better. So it's kind of like 6 of one, half a dozen of another when you stack it up against hydraulic. The flavors of hydraulic are definitely not as strong and not as sweet, and they're exactly the same price. So when you kind of put core pump up against hydraulic, if you want better pumps, better endurance, you go on your core pump. If you want better muscle power, better feeling of well-being and mood, you go your hydraulic. When it comes to Primabolic's Grind, on the other hand, the pumps are not quite as good. Very close in grind, but not quite as good as this core pump. The power in Primabolic's Grind is far better. The endurance in Primabolic's Grind is not quite as good. The mental focus and mood combined is also slightly better. The flavors are just as strong and just as sweet, and it is $10 cheaper. It's a little bit cheaper than core pump. So once again, core pump takes the cake when it comes to muscle pumps and muscular endurance, but Primabolic's Grind is better when it comes to muscle power and much better when it comes to the synergism of mental focus, increasing mood, and increasing feeling of well-being. Finally, guys, who is the core pump best for? Obviously, if you're training at night or for whatever other reason you don't want stimulants in your pre-workout, you want a completely stim-free pre-workout, core pump is your ticket. If you want to supercharge your pre-workout and in particular boost the effects of muscle pumps and muscular endurance, core pump is your ticket. Finally, if you just want blow your fucking head off muscle pumps and train as long as you want until the cows come home and the fat lady sings, core pump is your ticket. And finally, price and value for money in the Australian marketplace, the core pump retailing at the moment for $79.95 for the 40 scoops in the 2-scoop 20 serves. It makes it $2 per scoop, $4 per serve, which means it's definitely up there. So guys, if you're in the market for a top shelf stim-free pre, you gotta take a closer look at the Core Nutritionals core pump. Guys, hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel. Don't forget to turn your post notifications on your mobile, your cell phone, your desktop PC, and whatever other device you're watching this video on so you don't miss a beat. When it comes to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel, all these new raw reviews and everything else we got popping on the channel. And guys, that is MassiveJoes raw review on the all new core pump in the house. and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.
Thank you for tuning into this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.